I think knitters are incredibly creative, not just when we knit, but also inventing new little tiny rules that absolutely nobody asked for. Somewhere along the way, we decided that this yarn deserves a better project, that socks, they don't count, and that everyone else on social media is knitting better than we are. And honestly, I think we all believe at least one or two of them. So hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah and this is my little corner of the internet where I talk about knitting, yarn and the stories in between every other stitch. And if this is something you like, then please subscribe to the channel, leave a little yellow heart down in the comments below because this channel needs your engagement. And this video is not about mistakes and knitting fails and all that. It's about the tiny little funny stories we tell ourselves as knitters. The stories that seem completely illogical until you speak them out loud. So grab your knitting, a cup of tea, coffee, get yourself cozy, comfy, and let's see how many little stories or lies we can find. Let's just start straight with number 1. I need the perfect yarn for my project. Yarn has a very interesting life. It arrives at home, it gets highly admired, maybe photographed once or twice, moved into a special basket, taken out every few months, started at very lovingly, and then put back into the basket. Because no, not for that pattern, not for that project. Some of my skeins have been waiting longer for their perfect project than people look for the love of their life. And honestly, I completely understand it. The more pretty the yarn, the harder the decision. And the more pressure we put on it as well. Because then, welcome to the very special spot in our crafting corner for the special yarn. As if somewhere in the future there is a project worthy enough for that very special thing. And lately I've been wondering, what if the perfect project isn't the fanciest sweater you ever knit, but the one that you just pick out and it makes you smile every time you see it and you love it for a reason that is not the perfect yarn or the perfect pattern or the perfect match reason. So yeah, maybe that yarn is not waiting to become the perfect thing, it's just waiting to become something and come down from the high expectation shelf of special yarns and just be something real and something that gives you joy. And of course, once we finally decided for the perfect yarn, our brain comes up with another crazy rule. Because hey, I need to finish everything before I can cast on that new thing. And yeah, that sounds something like a responsible adult would say. Totally yes. And every January I would completely agree with it, yes. And by February, there are new cool and pretty patterns on sale on Ravelry, and by March I'm going to make a bunch of socks because I gift knit them for my own birthday, and by April my winter whips are still waiting to be finished, but hey, summer is coming, we should totally be ahead of the seasons, right? And suddenly my basket looks less like a collection of beautiful projects but more like a support group. There is that one sock, and there's that other single sock, and they are still waiting for the perfect match. And there is that sweater with only one sleeve and a missing collar, and yeah, I don't even know what that pattern is anymore. And then there is a couple of mysterious crochet rectangles that I'm honestly very afraid to ask any questions about. We're not diving any deeper, this is getting nowhere. So I used to think having so many whips does mean I'm not disciplined enough, so I really need to improve myself and get finished at least one or two of those projects. Well, now I think, oh no, I was just curious. Sometimes I want comfort knitting, sometimes I want a challenge. Sometimes I want something small because it's random Tuesday night again and yeah, life is busy enough, alright? We have enough problems to solve, we don't need to come up with some more. In general, I think creativity does not have to stay on a straight line and go forwards and forwards and forwards again. It can go in many directions. There is no rules for creativity. Go in any direction. You will never be wrong. There is always another lesson to learn. And speaking of making up rules, there is one more that accidentally social media told us to believe. At some point we started acting like knitting only counts when it's at least a bit difficult. A little bit more lace, a few more cables, a little bit more colorworks and more charts. As if the amount of concentration measures the value of your project. And if there is not enough willpower and forced concentration in that, then yeah, that's for losers. And meanwhile, some of my favorite and most joyful knitting experiences were stockinette in the round for miles and miles and miles. Plain stockinette. Yay, I'm here for that. It's just that kind of knitting that keeps your hand busy and lets your mind wander. It's that kind of knitting that keeps your hand busy and lets your mind wander. It's the one you take on your holidays or into like a nice cafe and chat with your friends, or the one that you just do while watching a nice movie with your loved ones, or watching your favorite comfort show for the 7th time and you just want something that keeps you busy while enjoying what you already know. Simple knitting is not less. Sometimes simple knitting is exactly what makes it so magical. So yeah, go knit that vanilla sock. Enjoy it. Make it count. It counts. It's not nothing. It really matters, alright? Speaking about rules and responsibilities, there is one rule that shops are definitely not responsible for, even though they would probably not complain about it. Because buying yarn will fix my lack of inspiration. Let's be honest, buying yarn feels amazing. I could do it every other day and it would still be fun and enjoyable. You leave the shop fully convinced that this new skein of yarn will mark the beginning of your new era. This is it. This is the perfect project. This is the one from your vision board. This is literally the version of you that finished that sweater before the end of the season. Definitely. And then again, the yarn comes home and it meets all your other life-changing purchases. And all together they are quietly waiting for the future you. And I'm pretty sure we're not actually buying only just yarn, we are buying opportunities and possibilities and daydreams. And that's a pretty lovely thing as well. So number 5, the biggest story or lie that we believe is not about yarn. It's about everybody else, because everybody else is a better knitter than me. Instagram, you fascinating place on earth. Everybody else's sweater fits so perfectly. Their color choices are always so on point. They all have the perfect project bag and the perfect supplies and the perfect backgrounds on the perfect couch in the perfect house in the perfect morning light. And then they have those beautiful coffee mugs and somehow they even keep their houseplants alive. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here on that couch counting the same row all over and over and over again just to notice it give me like 3 different results. So yeah, and while getting all those different answers, I look like a dried up shrimp drinking cold coffee from a Christmas mug. That's me. And the funny thing is, every knitter has that same experience. Welcome to hyperreality. Every knitter can tell you the story from that perfectly in pictures taken sweater that did not fit, or it was itchy, or whatever, something was wrong with it. Like it grew 7 sizes while blocking, or the sleeves turned out too short, or your neckline looks like it just falls over your shoulders all the time. And sorry grandma, you're not getting your Christmas blanket this year because my day has 24 hours just like everybody else's, and I'm just so sorry I could not make it. The only difference is those experiences are real, but they usually don't make it into the grid. And that's why I love those little real conversations here so much. Because after 5 minutes, I get to hear, you'll never believe what I had to frock yesterday. Am I going to unravel and pull apart that double-held something whatever? No. Sorry, life is too short. My patience is not endless. Not gonna do that today. That's the real conversations. And suddenly everything feels wonderfully normal again. And maybe these are not real lies that we tell ourselves. These are just reflections. And probably those funny little stories just became part of knitting culture. Stories that we inherited without even asking if we believe them or not. And the nicest thing we can do about them is just laugh about them here and there. Cast on that special yarn. Cast on another project if you genuinely want to have a new experience or just a little bit of novelty in your life. And please enjoy that vanilla sock. This is what it's all about, that's the core. If you just rip out the core, the joy, then what are we doing here? What is this all for? Enjoy your simple stockinette knitting. Buy yarn because it's beautiful. It does not need to solve anything. It's just there and it's pretty and just love it. You don't need an excuse. It's good enough to have it. That's it. And remember that every perfect knitter on the internet that you see has spent evenings and afternoons and probably days and days of their life arguing with that little stitch marker because somebody needs to be responsible for that stitch count. Totally messed up. And now I have a question for you. Which one of those 5 beliefs do you think you follow the most? Or is there an unwritten rule that we have not discovered yet, but we are pretty sure everybody believes as well? I'd love to read all your answers in the comments below, because I truly believe that there are many more than just the 5 that we discussed right now. And if you enjoyed this cozy little coffee chat, then here's a playlist with videos that you might also like, and I'll see you over there in the next one or next week on this channel. Until then, I wish you happy knitting and bye bye.